So Battlefield 6 has recently showed a lot of gameplay, a ton of gameplay actually, and a lot of people are excited for this because it's going to be like Battlefield 4, it's going to be like Battlefield 3, which both games I absolutely loved back in the day. So I'm so glad that they're kind of going back to the quote unquote boots on the ground rather than going into the super future and adding like hovercrafts and all that nonsense that they added in the last Battlefield. Upon this, there will also be skill-based matchmaking for Battlefield 6, which is very, very exciting. I wanted to talk about that a little bit. We'll focus on 4 key areas. So it'll focus on ping, player's location, server availability, and some skill factor. It was said that the matchmaking factors will vary based on each game mode and player counts, which sounds very interesting. So I'm guessing the higher player counts, the skill factor will come into play maybe, or maybe the server ability will come into play. Like Battlefield's never been really tournament focused and like try hard, professional players and stuff like that. It's always been casual. So I feel like the skill based matchmaking has always been pretty actually good in Battlefield. You don't really notice it too much when you are facing other players just because of how the game is and how casual the game is. Everybody's just having a good time and having fun. But while it's unclear precisely what that means when it comes to different game modes and player counts, it seems like there will be both a general SBMM system before entering a game and a team-based matchmaking system too, which sounds pretty good, honestly. It makes me wonder how the system is going to work and how it's going to base people off, if it's really using everybody's location, the server availability, and also the skill factor. It's very interesting how it's going to use all kind of 3 things and ping as well massed together. So we will see how that's going to work. He continued, Battlefield is at its best when you play the all-out war mode with friends and different types of players. We do not want to limit that. And this is kind of what a dev said, which is very interesting because, obviously they don't want to limit the fun and the all-out war modes that Battlefield is best at, right? With the destruction, with the tanks and the different vehicles and the mayhem that is going on. So, of course, I don't want Battlefield 6 to turn, the matchmaking into a try-hard fest where there's a bunch of matchmaking and it's, all the good players are in just a good lobby where everybody's a professional and everybody's, dodging around and, jiggle peeking and all of that. That'll be ridiculous. It'll turn the game too try hard and it'll turn players off, honestly, if they do get into those games. So I hope this balances out where the other Battlefields have as well, where it's everybody's gets to have a fun time in the game. There's some good players and then there's some casual players that are just chilling in the game at the same time, and I hope that happens kind of like that, where it's not too professional in each game I get into, where I'm in like a Call of Duty lobby or something and everybody's just like drop shotting or whatever. So it seems that although skill-based matchmaking is going to be in Battlefield 6 before you enter a match, there will be a second matchmaking server side to balance out teams, which sounds interesting. So there's going to be 2 kind of skill-based matchmaking systems in here. One for the, like I said, skill-based matchmaking, and second for the, making server side to balance out the teams, which sounds interesting, to balance out the team. So like I said, some players that are really good will be on a team, and then some players are really bad will be on a team, and then vice versa on the other team as well. So we're just going to balance out the teams, and that sounds good. Post is saying here, well, for the moment at least, that's what's being said. But because SBMM is such a hot topic, I'm sure EA will clarify further as the release day approaches. Very interesting, basically, how the devs are wording it. It doesn't sound like they're going to have all the sweatiest players in one lobby, like this article says, which sounds good. You really don't want the sweatiest players in one lobby because, like I said, it'll just get drawn out. The game will feel like a Valorant, like a Counter-Strike game, and it just won't be fun. It won't be casual fun, and it won't be fun for the really good players because they want to go around and not sweat as much and sweat tryhard against other tryhards. Other than the matchmaking for Battlefield 6, we also got the Javelin anti-cheat secure boot requirement, which could kill its Steam Deck support and Linux. So if you guys don't know, Linux is another operating system, and also you got the Steam Deck, and running this kind of kernel level Javelin anti-cheat system takes into account secure boot and will prevent players from playing the game if the feature is turned off or not supported. So at least the game will be easy to run on Windows PCs. That's basically what they're saying. And yeah, so we are not going to be sure if it's going to be going on Linux. I don't think it's going to be going on Linux emulators. And also Steam Deck support is going to be gone as well, because there's going to be no way of running the anti-cheat on Steam Deck. So basically every time when you start this game, you're going to have that Javelin anti-cheat secure boot. So it kind of reminds me of Valorant. So Valorant has their own anti-riot, anti-cheat system as well. So once you start the game, you kind of have that anti-cheat. Now, I think once you uninstall the game, people are saying there's rumors that you actually have to uninstall the anti-cheat as well, other than just the EA game, but I'm pretty sure they are wrong. I think you just uninstall the game and then the anti-cheat will be uninstalled as well. But this is a high security level anti-cheat. I do like this because you do not want to go into a game with a bunch of cheaters and hackers, and it'll just ruin your whole entire experience of this amazing game, which is Battlefield 6. You really just don't want that. So I'm glad that they're coming out with another Javelin kind of anti-cheat update to Battlefield 6. I have played so many games of like Call of Duty, of especially like Counter-Strike, where their anti-cheat is so bad and there's so many cheaters that run through the game, and it just makes it so not fun. You'll have people flying through walls, no clipping, aimbotting, wall hacking, etc., and it's just not fun. So Battlefield 6 definitely needs this kind of security for their cheating system. So in this form, in this article, it kind of says cheating and anti-cheats have been problematic on Linux, which is true because Linux is, it's kind of more of a operating system that you know how to code with. Like if you're a good coder, you use Linux basically, which does not always support the same secure anti-cheat systems as Windows does, which Windows is really good for anti-cheat. For instance, has Windows and Linux versions of its anti-cheat system, but its Linux variant is less secure than the Windows counterpart, lacking a kernel level requirement altogether, which is very true. Javelin is EA's latest iteration of its anti-cheat system, and it's the most successful anti-cheat system to date. Initially launched in 2022, Javelin takes advantage of a kernel level anti-cheat system to scope for cheats in the Windows kernel itself. Also, as well as a multi-data team comprised of data analysts, data engineers, and data scientists. So it's going to be very, very good. Since its launch, EA has allegedly blocked over 33 million cheat attempts across 2.2 billion PCs with Javelin, which sounds insane. That's so many, 33 million on 2.2 billion PCs. That's nuts. Also, when Javelin was first introduced in Battlefield 2042 last fall, EA allegedly saw match infection rates get cut in half. Furthermore, Javelin has a 99% accurate rate when banning cheaters, so there will be no false bans, which is really good because there are some players that play in like Valorant, Counter-Strike, they get false banned all the time, and it's a huge problem. And I'm glad it's not going to be a problem in this. Like if you run a random software that you have that's, like a Razer keyboard system or something, like for your lights on your keyboard or something, you won't just get banned or something. That's good. This issue will only become more problematic for Linux gamers moving forward. Valorant was one of the first games, like I said before, Valorant was one of the first games to incorporate a kernel level anti-cheat system, and which also enforced secure boot and TPM at 2.0 requirements. But now we're seeing more publishers embrace these highly restrictive anti-cheat techniques to improve the gaming experience for their players. So yeah, what do you guys think of this anti-cheat system? And also, what do you guys think of the matchmaking system that I talked at the beginning of this video? I think the anti-cheat system is going to be amazing, and I'm so glad that they're adding it into this game. You kind of need that. It is what it is nowadays. People really don't like those anti-cheat systems where they just literally go into your computer and stuff when you install the game, but you have to have it nowadays for gaming. It's 2025. It's not like back in the day where not many people were cheating. It's so many people are cheating now, and so many cheating companies are making millions and millions of dollars a year to provide these cheats to people and have these monthly services to people. So you want to make sure that is all secured. And also matchmaking. Do you guys think the matchmaking and how they are going to be running the matchmaking with the SBMM apparently, and also just like, you know, finding matches and the skill-based matchmaking. How do you guys think that's going to work? And do you guys think it's going to be good in Battlefield 6? I think it's going to be great. I don't have any, you know, negative things to say about that. I think it's going to run good. Battlefield has always been good at matchmaking, in my personal opinion, at least. So yeah, what do you guys think? Leave a comment down below, and make sure you leave a like on this video as well. And also hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. I will be making a ton of content on Battlefield 6 moving forward. And yeah, have a great day or night, guys, and peace.